All right, everyone, this is the 5-week check-in from my XLIF surgery. I didn't do a 4-week or a 1-month one just because I was kind of busy with life and kind of recovery, doing my thing, and I kept putting it off. But I thought today would be a good one. I just finished a 3-mile walk. It's my longest walk to date. I've been doing like a mile and a mile and a half, and usually I'll go to a grocery store where I have a cart that I can hold on to, but today I did it in my town. My town's kind of like that old downtown hometown with blocks and things like that, kind of built like in the 20s, so some of the sidewalks are older, kind of off balance, cracked, things like that. So I thought it would be a good test to do. I did 3 miles in a little less than an hour, and I mean, I did it pretty good, relatively pain-free, so I was pretty happy with that. As for pain, I'm almost completely recovered, I would say, from pain. I'm still have some when I wake up in the morning enough to where I ice, and then I use this machine. I'm not sure if you guys ever heard of it. It's called an ARP wave. I'll show it to you guys. They're super expensive. Somehow my doctor for my last fusion, it was a workman's comp thing, conned the company into saying that I needed it, bought it for me. It works pretty decent. I know it's super expensive. I know for a doctor to have one at their, or like a physical therapist to have one at their place of employment, it's like $20,000 to $30,000 for them to buy that machine. And I know the personal ones are pretty expensive. A lot of pro athletes use it. They kind of sold it on me when I first had my back fusion, was like 2 years ago. Jay Cutler for the Chicago Bears had torn his groin, and they said usually that was like an 8-week recovery time, and that they predicted him to be out 8 weeks. He went through this full ARP wave workout and recovery, and it cut his recovery time down to 2 weeks. So I haven't noticed that great of help from it. It feels like a TENS unit to me if you've ever used one of those, but supposedly the signals, it's a different type of wave and signal, and it promotes healing, promotes blood flow to the area where it's at, and then it does something with the pain signal to your brain, redirects it or rewires it. I'm not sure how they explained it to me. Like I said, I was lucky enough to get one. I use it. If you want to look it up into it, it's ARP. I'm not sure what that acronym stands for. I have an ARP, Personal Recovery System. Like I said, they're super tracked, super hard to get. I had to fill out a bunch of paperwork. It's a type 2 medical device, so the FDA, I think, tracks it. I had to sign something. I can't resell it or give it away, or if I did, I had to give it back to the company. It was, a bunch of hoops to jump through. So I'm lucky enough to have that. I use it on a regular basis, so maybe it's helping me. Maybe it's helping the recovery on that. But yeah, look into it. I wouldn't spend a bunch of money on it because, like I said, it feels like a TENS unit to me. Maybe I've noticed it help a little bit more than a TENS unit. But I was lucky enough to have one. Like I said, I'm off all prescription medicine. I know you're not supposed to take ibuprofen, but I've pushed myself in the past, and when I hadn't only walked a half mile and I decided to walk a mile and a half, and on a day like that I took some ibuprofen. I'm not taking it on a regular basis. I've taken it twice over probably the last 3 weeks or so, 2 weeks, and I mean, that's all I need. I've kind of relied on ice. Where else to go with this? Like I said, I'm kind of noticed that I'm back to maybe where I was in between maybe my first and second surgery. Everyone I talk to tells me that I look like I'm moving better. I'm not as stiff. I'm a little more fluid. They say that I actually like my personality, and it seems like I'm happier. I don't really notice it or notice any difference, but I guess that's good. Maybe my body knows that I'm recovering, so I'm a little happier inside. I don't know. But as for other things, I'm still not back to work. I'll start physical therapy, hopefully not this next Monday, but the Monday after. I go see my doctor next Friday, and he's supposed to prescribe physical therapy, so I can't really touch on that. The only thing I'm doing is kind of walking on my own, and I do that like 2 or 3 times a week. Like I said, today was the longest one at 3 miles. As for other everyday life, I do things like I'll vacuum my house, I'll dust, I'll do stuff like that. Just, normal everyday things, nothing too crazy. I'm still not bending, lifting, twisting, or lifting everything heavy. Just kind of slowly but surely getting back to normal life. So I'm pretty happy with the way this recovery is going. and I'm hoping that it continues to get better. Like I said, it gets a little better each day. I can notice that. So overall, I'm extremely happy with this. As for, you know, other everyday living, sitting up, I still have a little bit of pain when I sit up, like in a kitchen chair. That's hard, but I can do it. I can eat dinner. I just wouldn't, you know, maybe necessarily sit there and play a board game or something like that. You do at a kitchen table real long. But as for like sitting on a couch, I don't really have any issues with that. I can sit on a recliner for as long as I want, kind of reclined, you know, relatively pain-free. When I first lay down to bed, my back feels maybe like a little tight, the muscles are, but it kind of relaxes in a little bit. I'm able to sleep with no problem. Like I said, most of my pain is in the morning. It's right at my lower left belt line, and it's kind of deep in, I don't know how to explain it, deep in the bone and the muscle. It's kind of deep in there. It's the only way. And then everything's kind of tight. But by the time I ice and use that machine, everything kind of loosens up. So I'm happy with that. Really, I don't have too much more for you guys. Like I said, I'll do a 12-week. That's when they expect to release me full go back to my job, which, if I told you before, I was a police officer. So my level of healing is going to have to be a little bit regular than anybody else's, because I'm going to have to be able to perform a lot more specific physical job descriptions. Like, I have to be able to lift 100 pounds, I think is one of our job descriptions. On occasion, you know, bend over. I have to be able to wrestle somebody. I have to be able to run. You know, things like that most job descriptions don't have. So I'll keep you guys updated with that. But if you guys are looking for this XLIF, I recommend it. It's night and day from my original fusion I had, that they went straight through my back. At this time, at about 6 weeks, 5 weeks, last time, I was still pretty miserable. I remember this was about the time I was like, is this ever going to get better? So yeah, the XLIF's the way to go. Like I said, I've had mine done at Rush University in Chicago, or Midwest Orthopedics at Rush in Chicago. I picked them because they were number 4 in America. Read a bunch of bios, picked Dr. Matthew Coleman. I recommend him. He's a down-to-earth guy. He will listen to you, to what you want, and help you out the best he can. So I will check back in with you guys in about 6 weeks, once my physical therapy is, right when I'm getting ready to get released from my job, or back to my job. So hopefully I'm running by then and just kind of getting back to where I was back in 2015 before I had all these injuries. Like I said, I got about 50 pounds to lose that I've put on since then, but I'm looking forward to getting back to running, working out, wrestling, doing things like that I did, that I used to enjoy, that I can't do anymore. So wish me luck, and if you guys have any questions, go ahead, post them. I'll do my best to answer them. I get notifications on my phone from YouTube on those, so I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you.